Hey everyone, it's Melissa with Web of Creativity, and I'm showing my beach bag mini album. This video is going to be the construction video on how to construct this mini album and all the pages. So I'm going to start off by just showing you the album. So we have some charms and flowers made through using the Graphic 45 floral die, and we have some burlap paper used for the bottom decoration and the handles. So cute. So then we're going to open it up, and we start off with two flaps that are actually tags. So we have a pocket here, and then we have another tag, and then this flips open for a larger area for photos. So that is how that's how the pages are, and there's 5 pages in this album. I'm going to say the turtle page is my favorite, and that's just because I love turtles. So we do have a preview video that goes further into all the pages, and then the end of this video I'm going to show you all the pages and how those are matted. So if you wanted to mat it the same as me, then you can do that as well. There's kits for this video up on my blog, www.webofcreativity.net. There's the tutorial, the written tutorial, and I also have a preview video on my YouTube channel along with the kit video. So let's get started. Alright, for the covers we have 2 main pieces of chipboard, one I cut, the other one I'll do right now, and then the spine piece. So for the chipboard, we are going to have to cut at an angle to get this look. So let me put this to the side and get my craft mat and my cutting tool. So what I'm going to first do is make a measurement of where I'm going to cut at. And the measurements are in your tutorial. So I'm going to measure from the inside point all the way to the tip of the corner. And let me get my ruler. I'm going to use Tim Holtz ruler, who has a steel side to it for cutting purposes. And I like to cut from the fat point first to the tip. So the fattest point first to the tip. I'm going to use my pencil as a guide first. My blade is a little dull, so it's going to take a couple of passes. And I moved my chipboard. My ruler. Alright. Okay, and then I'm going to, even though I marked both sides, I'm going to actually flip this over and mark it at the top, because I don't like to cut from the tip point. Alright. Alright, now we got our shape of our beach bag ready to go. So we have our 2 beach bag pieces and our spine. And then we're going to cover our cover first. So this is our cover sheet for our front cover of our album. So we're just going to flip this over and attach our cover to it. I've already added my tape. So what we're going to do is I'm going to first draw a line of where I want my board to be, and it's going to be 5/8 from the edge. So I'm going to draw my line first so I can see where I'm going to put it. And it's going to go in the center, and it's going to be about half an inch from both sides. So I'm going to mark that too. Okay. Now I'm attaching this so I can see my lines better. That's exactly where I'm going to put it. I'm going to go ahead and remove my tape backing. And then if you wanted to add some more adhesive, grab your ATG and just put just a little bit extra. Alright. So then I'm going to line my board up with the marks that I made. Okay, then we need to trim our corners. So I'm going to get my craft mat, ruler, and craft knife. And if you're wondering, I'm using Martha Stewart's craft knife, and I'm not sure if that's in stores anymore. Alright, so we're going to cut on an angle because these angles are a little off. It's not going to really matter too much, except when we start to wrap it, and we'll have to trim a little more on the bottom part. But for the top part, we're just going to measure 1/8 of an inch. So if you have your Tim Holtz ruler, it's going to be the first mark is the 1/8 of an inch. Line that up with the corner, and it doesn't have to be a perfect angle. And then we'll do our other corner. And then we're going to do, just because this is larger, we're still going to do it as an angle. Alright, so now that all corners are trimmed, we can add tape. And I'm using 3/8 inch tape. And you want to do it right up flush against the edge. So now we're going to fold our top and bottoms first. So I press it with my hand first, and then I use the edge of a bone folder. And then we're going to go ahead and attach it to one side first. There we go. So I'm going to press in the middle first, going outwards. There we go. Now I probably should have inked the edges first, so let me do that real quick. I'm going to use Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. I'm just going to, especially the corners, so I'm just inking what could possibly be shown. So it's just the corners. Alright, now that I got that, we're going to do the bottom side. So we're going to tuck in the corners. I'm going to zoom in. So we have our corners. We're just going to tuck in with our bone folder. So I'm just pushing it, giving it a little crease. And then, let me zoom back out. We're going to fold these inwards. The bottom part is the part that we're going to have to trim again. So let's see what we need to trim. I'm just looking. This one doesn't look like it needs to be trimmed. So it means that I did a good job cutting at an angle. But if it does have an overhang, you just unfold it and then cut a little bit off. So that's for that one. Let's see if this one needs one. And you definitely want to trim it before you fold the edges. So it would stick out a little bit on the corners if there was a little bit of overhang. Mine is not, but it could happen. Just trim it a little bit to make sure that it fits properly. So we'll go ahead and attach. And then I'm going to run this guy over again. Alright. Now why I did a full cover for this one and the back cover is because we have another, we're going to use, getting it out, we're going to use some burlap for the spine piece so it'll overlap onto this. So we can do a complete cover for the front and back, because usually we attach the spine by now, but we don't need to with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do my second piece, and I'll be right back. For the spine, we have 2 little cardstock pieces for the ends. The whole piece doesn't need to be covered. It's going to have the burlap on it on one side and then paper for attaching these two on the inside. So all I'm doing is just marking this. I'm going to mark it about 5/8 and then attach my end piece, lining it up. And folding it over. Alright. So that'll cover our ends. So that's what you'll see on the side instead of the chipboard edge. Okay, repeat for the other side. Alright, time to work on the spine piece. Now this is a piece of burlap. It's going to go on the spine, and then your covers are going to go on there. So it's going to just come up partial way on the album, but first we need to fray it a bit. So I wanted to fray about 1/2 inch. So I marked my 1/2 inch line on both sides. Now once it's all frayed and then we attach, then we're going to trim it off, because we don't want it to come all the way out to here. We want it to go inward, but we do want to fray it. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's real easy. You just pull on your string. Now when you're done, and this will make a mess, and when you're done pulling out a 1/2 inch or less worth of fray, that's when we'll have to trim the paper, because it is a paper backing. So we just trim it with scissors. I think I'm going to need to get my, there we go. Of course, you don't have to have it frayed. I like the look of it. You can do more or less. I am there, it looks like. So I'm just pulling it back a little bit and see where I'm at. Get all the pieces unattached to the paper. Clear out some spot. Okay. So then we're just going to cut. Again, I'm just going to use a pair of scissors as close to the edge as possible. You're not going to really see it if it's not perfect. And then we're going to try and weave so we're not cutting any of the frayed pieces. And I didn't mean weave, I just mean and make sure that none of their pieces are up to cut. Alright, there we go. So now we got that frayed look. So we'll have some fraying on our piece. So there we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so now that both sides are frayed, We're going to go ahead and attach our spine piece to the middle. So I've already added my tape. Okay, so I've already marked my spot just to make sure to get this in the center of the piece. Even though we are trimming it, so it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. Alright, and then we're going to add tape. Just seeing where I want to put my tape at. So we're going to go ahead and put a piece on the bottom. I'm off camera. I'll do a piece on the bottom. Alright, and I'm going to want to run a piece. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just checking to see where my tape needs to go. Alright. I think I'm going to add one in the middle just because. Okay, now that I got my spot taped, we're going to get our spacers, which is the 2 pieces of chipboard. We're going to place them against the spine and then place our other piece on this side and do it evenly. I'm going to turn it so I can see better. I am right-handed. Let's try that again. So I'm going to attach it so it's even with, I'm going to attach it so it's even with the spine piece on both sides. I'm removing the tape. Alright. So lining up my spacer. Holding this at an angle so this piece at the bottom won't attach to this before I'm ready. So I'm going to line up to make sure it's even with the spine piece on the right and left. And then I'm going to fold it down. Alright. Yeah. Alright, and we're going to do that to the other side. Tape, 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 tape. Alright, time to prep the other side. So we got the tape on there, and then put tape at the bottom. Going back to check on where I need to put my tape. So the reason I do this, I go to the top and then from the spine, and then I measure from the top to the spine, and that's so I don't go over or under with my tape. But I'll have a measurement in the tutorial on how far to go up. And then just one piece in the middle just because. Alright, then I'm going to take my, turn this so I can handle it, take my spacer and line it up to the spine piece. And press down. Alright. Starting to look like something. Okay, now we need to trim off our sides. So I got my cutting mat and my cutting knife. I'm just going to, excuse me, I switched out my blade to something sharp, and so I'm just going to follow the line of my chipboard and go down, trying not to pick up my craft knife because I don't want to cut my paper. So again, keep this flush to the cutting mat, follow along, and don't pick up your craft knife. I'm going to turn this so I can get a better angle. Then I'm going to stop at this corner and straighten out my blade so it'll start hitting the spine piece. And I cut into my paper. Let's get back down. Alright. So I did what I told you not to do, but it is on the inside, so I'm not worried about this piece right here. But I did give it a nice clean cut. Alright, try it again. Now I think why I nicked it is because I was coming off of this corner to this corner. And it was easier to nick, so I might pay attention a lot closer to this side when I come to it. Alright, so let's and straighten it up to go straight. Paying attention not to nick my paper. Now I have to do another. I must not have been pushing too hard. And I nicked my paper. Just seeing where my where I need to cut. I figured if I, excuse me, figured if I changed my blade, I'd only have to run it through once. Alright. But I wasn't pressing hard enough. There we go. Alright. There's my cut edge. It looks good. Alright. Alright, that's the front cover. We'll get working on the inside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and attach our spine paper to our inside of our spine piece. So I've already cut out my piece and put tape on the edges on the long side and just the edges. So the rest of the tape is going to go on our piece of chipboard. So when we do the spine, we're going to be cutting it short because the paper gives you about a 1/8 inch border on both sides. So we're going to cut it short to about a little more than 1/8 of an inch before we attach, and it's going to be right on the edge of the chipboard for the spine piece. So we want that, make sure it's flush to the edge. We need that to be there so there's no bubbling. So we're going to do it on the other side. And to help prevent bubbling, we're also going to do it on the opposite side, right across from the spine edge. And again, this needs to be on flush to the edge. Then I'm going to add trying to figure out how many pieces of tape I can get on this spine because I'm covering the whole piece. The reason why there's extra tape in the spine piece for this section is because this is where all our pages are going to be on. So we want to make sure this paper is stuck real well and it's not going to come up. It's going to have that extra weight to it. Alright. Now, with the edges, I'm just going to put a small piece of tape just to cover anything I might have missed when I was bringing the tape all the way to, I was bringing it short because I was shortening it. So this is my 1/4 inch tape, and I was just using my 1/2 inch tape for the spine. And I'm just rubbing, make sure our tape's gonna stick. Then I'm going to attach this as even as possible. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Now, for the most part, I do just want it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge on both sides. The top and bottom relatively centered, but I give myself about 1 inch leeway on both sides. So if it is a little off, no problem. We just mainly want our 1/8 inch border in the middle, for the spine piece. Alright, then we need to prepare our 2 inside cover pieces. So we're just going to cut them about 1/8 of an inch smaller than our covers. Alright, so our inside piece, I've already cut out, but I'm going to trim. It's going to fit just short of 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way and get my cutting mat. And we're going to go ahead and mark my piece so I know I'm going to cut it. Flip it over and do it again. Alright, I'm going to ink the edges real quick. This is Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. Or you can just use the regular Vintage Photo. But as soon as I got the Oxide one, I used it just to cover the edges of my paper, and I liked it, so I've just been using it ever since. But if I get a darker graphic 45 paper, I'll probably switch back to the normal Vintage Photo. Flip it over and add my tape. And you only have to watch me do one. I already made my second piece for the back side, for the back cover. I always like to, before I attach anything, see where it's going to go and what it's going to look like. And then I'm going to grab my ATG gun and add some extra adhesive. Oops. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to want that to be about 1/8 of an inch. Looks good. And then I'll grab my other piece. I'm adding some ATG to this piece as well. Okay. I did use the same paper as the back side. Alright. So now we're going to fold gently. You know where the crease is, so I'm actually going to hold it a little bit because we want to make sure the paper goes inwards and not puff outwards. I'm going to do this one side. I'm just moving it slowly. Alright, now with more use it'll get a little more looser, but I just wanted to get that bit. There we go. It's getting there. It's starting to look like a bag, kinda. It's missing the handle and then decorations. Alright, moving on. Alright, so we're going to work on our page construction. So this is our page. We have 2 tags. I'll pull out. So this is our main page right here, which is 2 pockets. And then the back side of it is another tag, and then a flap. So we're going to work on our main page first. So our main page is going to be 2 sheets, and then we have our 2 tags. Then this we'll set aside for our back side. So I'm gonna be a little off camera doing my scoring, and all the measurements and scoring measurements are on the tutorial, which you can get on my blog, www.webofcreativity.net, and click on the tutorial tab, list above. There will be a link below. Okay, so I scored my main page, and then that sheet doesn't get scored. So I have this craft sheet so you can see a little bit better. Need to get me a mat for the table, but right now we're just going to stick with craft. So what I have is our main sheet has 3 score lines. We have 1 on each side, and that is for our 1/2 inch tab. And then we have 1, this was going to make our pocket. So for our tabs, we're going to trim the corners. I call it tapering the corners, and you cut from the score line. So we have the 1/2 inch score line. So we cut from the score line at an angle. And that I consider as tapering your corners. So I go from the score line and cut at an angle. And then we have our score lines that are intersecting. So let me see if I can zoom this in without it not being fuzzy. So we have our 1/2 inch for our tab, and then our score line for our pocket piece. So we're going to cut it at an angle here and here. So we're going to cut it as like a V shape. And that's a form of tapering the corners. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, so we are going to, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to fold Well, I drew on this side, so I guess I'll stick to this side. I would usually flip it over. So we're going to fold our short tabs first. And then I'm going to add tape to them. Alright, so we got our tape on our short sides, and then we're going to fold and attach to make our pocket. Alright, then we're going to flip it over and fold on the tab again. And I'm going to add, sorry I'm spinning the paper around, but it's, okay, so now that I got my tape on my tabs, so this is just the front side of the main page with the pocket. Okay, then we got the back side, which is the other piece. Oh, it's up here. I'm like, where is it at? Alright, so this piece is just going to sit. And we're going to attach so it's flush on both sides and at the top and bottom, so it's going to be even. Okay. And now we have it attached, so we have our first pocket and then we have our second pocket. And this, the bottom side is what's going to attach to our binding. So next are our two tags. So we're going to go score those. Oops. Sorry about that. I hope you don't get dizzy. Keep hitting my tripod. Alright, so these are just easy. We're just going to fold on the score line. And you will notice one is a little more, has a little more space at the bottom than the other one. Probably, I think that's, let me check, I think it's 3/4. Yeah. So we got 3/4 space at the bottom for one of them, and that's going to be your top tag, and this one is only a 1/2 inch. So the 1/2 inch will get to the bottom. And then we're going to have the 3/4 one. Alright, so now we have the back side to do. So we're going to take these out and get our back side pieces. So we have our two tags and then our two pieces for that make up our back side. Get the scoreboard out again. Okay, our one piece just has one score, and that is for our tab. So we're going to fold that. We're going to taper the corners. And then we're going to add our tape. And attach to our album. So we have pocket, and we're going to flip it like that. So our tab is going to attach to the top flush. I'm going to turn this upside down so I can see it better when I attach. Alright, so I'm going to line it up flush to the top. Alright, so there we go. And now we need our pocket piece. So our pocket piece has 3 score lines. So we got our tab score line on both sides, and then we have one in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and taper. We're going to taper our corners. And then we're going to do our V-shaped taper for the middle. Okay. And we are going to do one side of the tabs are going to get folded one way, and then the other tabs are going to get folded the opposite direction. So all the tabs, we're going to do one set first. So what we're going to do to make our pocket, we're going to fold it up and even. I always check before I attach. So we're going to fold it up and even. And then we're going to add tape to our tabs. And then attach to our album. So the you can attach it however you want with which way the pocket is facing. So I have the flap flapping down. I'm going to put the pocket opening to the right. And I'm going to put it in the middle. So give me one sec. Let me get this tape off. And get my trusty Tim Holtz ruler, the one that has the 0 point in the middle, so I can figure out my middle. Make sure my pocket's facing the right direction. Line up my pocket so it's centered. Then I have my one mat, and then this mat, second mat, needs to get scored. Oops. And then I'll take the scored there we go. The short piece in the pocket and fold over. So that is the back side. Here's the front. Oh. That's our page. Now we need to decorate it. Alright, now we're going to go with matting. So we're going to first start with matting our first page. So we're going to do our tags first and then the front side of our main page. So the tags are pretty simple. All the measurements are in the tutorial. So the tags just have, find some space here. Just have the front mat, which is from pattern paper, and then I have the inside mats are just some cardstock. So I've already cut everything, so it leaves an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And I do use my punch and other pieces. So if you want to punch the edges, you can. I use this, it's called Deco Shell punch. It's a Martha Stewart punch. Deco Shell. And I'm going to use my ATG to attach it just for speed purposes. But I would normally put tape on there if I'm going to attach a picture for sturdiness. Now some places you can use just the ATG. I don't have a problems with them on my other albums, but I like to be safe than sorry, so I'd use the tape. I inked all my pages with Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, or you can use Distress Vintage Photo or any inks that you like. I didn't do a heavy ink, I just covered the edge. So I'm just going to attach. Now I'm just going to do basic matting for all my pages, and then on the in my blog and on the end of the tutorial I'll have pictures of all them, the pages being decorated. Now I'm going to attach this in the center, so it's going to be a 1/8 inch border all the way around. So my decorated pieces are over to the side. So I got a piece of chipboard, I cut out a turtle. Oh, yeah. So I got my first piece figured out. So I thought that was going to be cute. But my favorite are sea turtles, and tortoises are my favorite animals. So this paper, I fell in love as soon as I saw the turtles. Now on the tags, the top inside mat, of course, is the same size as the pattern, but the inside bottom part is different size on both tags because they are about a 1/4 inch difference. So when you're using the same color paper, it's hard to tell. So make sure you have the right piece before attaching. So like this one, I would make sure I didn't grab the bigger one. Goes for this guy. First one done. No matter how fast you want to go, with the ATG, it just seems like doesn't work. Okay, now we got our tags done. We can move on to our front side of our main page. I don't know why I blinked on that. So I already cut my pieces out. This piece, however, I am going to do some punching. So I got this piece that's going to go in the middle, and I'm going to punch the ends. So I'm going to grab my deco shell, and it might, using punches on this table tends to jump my camera, so just letting you know. I'm punching backwards because it fits. The size of the paper that I have fits almost perfectly. Oh, I meant perfectly. Can you see that punched edge? Looks good. All right. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and ink my pieces. Okay. So this is going to get attached also with a 1/8 inch border in the center. So we're going to attach our small rectangle pieces first. And that is going to be a 1/8 inch border. I'm gonna get my oops, my roller. Let's see. Figuring out where the center is. All right, there we go. And now my piece is attached. Let's see if I can zoom in. So you can see my little detail right there. And I love that the boats right there as well. Okay, then we have the back side. Alright, time to do the back side. So our front side's done. Flip it to the back. Open it up. And this is what we're going to work on. So we have our paper that we're going to attach. Then we have some short on both, on the top and bottom. That's where this paper comes in. And we're going to go ahead and punch the edge with the same punch. So let's, so I'm going to do just one of them on screen. The other one I'll do off. And let's get punching. Yeah, it shakes. Camera shakes. Okay. Look at that good edge. Nice and clean. Then I'm going to go ahead and just ink the top. Alright, let me finish the other one. Alright, now I have both of my edges punched. We're going to go ahead and attach our strips. I'm going to attach it to the top. Again, 1/8 inch border. Now you can add glue to the punched edge. I'm not going to do that, but it is an option if you're afraid of it's going to get caught on anything. Alright, this paper kind of messes with your eyes a little bit. Okay, so we're going to attach. Same thing, 1/8 inch border, except this time you're going to make sure it lines up with your first piece up here, so you're not off. Okay, and then let's do this one. Oops. So look at that edge. Okay. And we have So I just have some cut pieces that are going to slide behind the pocket when we attach. And then our fishies. So with this one, I'm going to try and hold the pocket open to slide that in. There we go. Alright, then 1/8 inch border. Okay, now that we got that one, we're going to do our tags. Alright, so for these tags, I have this flap section here. So I have what I want for the front. I'm going to do the punched edge from this side, and that's what my front one's going to be. And I think I'm just going to put either probably light blue for my mat, for just the plain one, but for the rest, I'm not sure if I'm going to do solid color or pattern paper yet. I'm going to mat everything first, and then whatever scraps I have left, I might use, you know, part cardstock, part pattern paper. So we'll see. So I've only got, you know, I like to use my pattern paper for the big pieces first and cut them out, and then whatever I have left, use, you know, whatever I have left. So I want to make sure my big pieces get matted, because you can use scrap pieces to make for the little tags or your cardstock. But once you cut your big pieces, you know, that's it. So that's my tip. Save your tags for last. So we're going to punch the left side of my mat. Alright. Now I have one on this one. I got pretty good on the other ones being an even cut. This one has a little niche on the end that will definitely get caught on something. So we'll just trim that piece off. I got lucky with the other two. They were an even punch. I'm going to add some ink. So we're going to attach our small piece first. Oh no! Oh no! And my HG's out. Let's I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Fully loaded ATG gun. Glider. Alright, so we're going to attach. Again, 1/8 inch border. Was that a surprise to anyone? Nope. Alright. Alright. Okay, so we want 1/8 inch border and match up nicely. Am I even? Oh, I look even. Alright, there we go. Very cute. Most likely light blue for this guy. Uh-oh. There we go. Put this guy here. Definitely gonna add some sort of stickers or something. And there we go. It looks good. Oh, let's put our little one here. And then a big guy here. Oh, looks good. Alright, that's how you mat them. If I get some more, you know, tag ideas, I will post them instead of just doing a plain mat. Take my scraps and see what goodies I can do. I always got my punch and my cardstock. I can come up with something good. Okay, that's it for the pages. Alright. Hey guys, we're going to work on the binding. This is a partial stack the deck binding, and that was created by Laura Dennison, and it happens to be my favorite. So I've already cut out my pieces, and I've already scored them. So pretty much is scored to have our 1/2 inch tabs on 2 pieces, and then the last piece is just 1 tab. It's only going to be 5 pages for this album. So we're going to fold on our score line where our tab is. And we're going to taper the corners. And that's cutting from the score line to an angle. So we're going to taper our corners, and we're going to do that on our next piece. And we're folding the tabs all in the same direction. And then our last piece is just 1 fold. And we're only going to taper 2 corners on the same piece. So we have just 1 tab that has been tapered. Alright, then we're going to add our tape. So first we're going to tape our tabs. Now when we tape our tabs, we want to go flush to the edge. So we want it as close as we can to the edge to leave a little space between the tape and the score lines. We do want like a little bit of a sliver of a space. I'm using 3/8 score tape, and the tab is a 1/2 inch. So we're going to go straight to this edge. And you'll be able to see, hopefully, where I have the score line and then the tape. So it has that little bit of space right in there that doesn't have any tape on it. Okay, then we're going to flip over and we're going to add tape to the tabs again. Alright, so the tabs is what our page is going to slide on. So this portion on the back side is going to attach to our album spine. So we need to add our tape to that piece. And I'm going to switch to my, this is my 1/2 inch. And I'm going to get it right on the inside, up against the score line, but not over the score line. So again, right up by the score line, just not over it. I'm going to get my 3/8 inch tape. Alright, so I covered the whole back area. So for the next piece is the same. We're going to go ahead and attach our tape flush to the edge. And my tape is done. Alright, now we're going to flip over and repeat. And we're going to do our middle piece. And then lastly, our little binding strip for our one extra page. And we're going to do one piece of tape for the piece that is not tapered. Oops. Alright. Now we have our pieces. So how this is going to go is why it's called stack the deck is because you're stacking your piece. So we'll take the smallest piece, put it on top of the biggest piece. and we're going to attach it evenly. And then this guy is our extra piece because this is 5 pages instead of 6. And it's just going to butt up against your larger spine piece that we're working on, binding piece that we're working on in the binder. So, I mean on the spine. Alright, so then we need to measure so we can make sure that it's going to be even. Alright, so we're going to mark top and bottom where our piece is going to go, which I marked the center of. And then we're going to remove the tape backing, just the piece that's in between the 2 score lines. And we're going to attach. So I'm going to follow the 2 markings that we got on one side. Line it up. And now we have an even piece. So they all have the same spacing wise. And then we need to attach it to our spine. I'm going to run my bone folder. We definitely want to make sure this sticks together to each other. So an extra burnishing is good. And then when we put it on our spine piece, we want to make sure it is burnished really well. This holds our pages in. We don't want it to move. Alright, for our binding, I did mark a little piece on both sides to where I want to put it, but I'm going to use my ruler as a guide. So I want to make sure this guy is even. So I'm going to hold it so this edge will go against the ruler. So I'm going to remove the tape backing. So I have my ruler placed so the center is centered, so I can make sure that it's the same spacing from the top and bottom when it gets attached, and even. So let me make sure my ruler is in place. And I moved it. Sometimes you wish you had another hand. Alright. That looks even. And then our last piece will get attached, butting up against the back side. So again, you know, I like to check it first before I attach. So I'm removing the tape backing. Gonna make sure it lines up at the top. Okay, then we'll get our bone folder, press down between each of the tabs. All right. And there's our tabs for our binding. Now we need to attach our pages. Alright, for attaching our pages, we're going to start with the, you can start anywhere you want, but I'm going to show you, first take off all the tags, it's easier to attach. And then we have our main page pocket area. So that's we're going to remove the tape, and then we're going to slide on to the tab. So let's see if I can. There. So there's the tab And then we're going to slide our page on it and then attach. So it's not going to be completely flush. That's why we didn't add, that's why we had that little space between the score line and the tape. Because we don't want it to be completely flush with the book, or it's going to be hard to fold. So we want to leave a sliver so we'll be able to fold with ease and fold your pages down. Sometimes I will only remove the tape backing from the front, slide it in, and then use like the craft knife to get the tape off the back. I'm going to attempt to just remove the tape because the pages aren't that snug, and it looks like I can slide with ease, but we will find out. I might regret my decision. You can always use glue as well, but let's see if I can slide this down with ease. Alright, so the front looks good. And the back looks good. Alright, so there we go. We got our first page attached. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and attach our next page. Oh, again, I do like to test it out first. Yeah. And uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's try that again. So the first one went on with ease. I was hoping the second one would do the same. Oh, there we go. Front looks good. Back looks good. Okay. Page 3. Oh, these are coming together just fine. And if you've noticed, I've already matted all my pages. So once I get these guys attached, I can start decorating them. I got stickers and chipboard, and I do find it easier to mat all my pages before I attach them. Because once they're attached, you don't have a flat surface anymore. Because I have, like, see, I have some pages, so this isn't perfectly flat. It's harder to mat, and it wiggles. So you want to just, for me, I prefer to mat my pages first and then attach them to the album. Okay, good. Oh, wasn't out. I only had one side in. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Alright, one more. Now you can always decorate your albums first. Decorate your pages first before you attach them. Because it's the same theory. If you have something and your page might not be particularly flat to decorate them. Alright, all of our pages are attached. And then we're just gonna put our tags. Alright, see that? Ah, it's coming together. I still got them at my big piece right here, which I think I'm just going to do a solid cardstock. So I do have to finish matting my tags. But you get the idea. And then it's coming together. So we just need our handle. I can't believe I forgot the word handle. We need our handle, finish putting our tags in and mat them, and then if you want to decorate the inside cover or just leave it clean, it's up to you. And then we have to decorate our front cover. So at least we got our pages in. Alright, moving on. Okay, it's time to work on the handle, and the handle is just one strip of the burlap. The back side of the burlap is a paper backing, so I just added tape. I think this is my first project with a strap. Maybe my second project, but this one I'm just using tape for the handle. I'm hoping it's strong enough to last. And if it's not, then maybe some strong adhesive. But if you have any experience with it, use what works best. But I'm just using my two-sided tape, and then just make sure it's burnished real well onto the bag. So again, just a strip of your burlap, and then we're going to try to take the tape off. Alright, so we're going to attach, I go from this corner, so it's going to be 2 1/inch. And I like the Tim Holtz ruler because you have the marks from up on the ruler that's up 1 inch, and then you have the numbers on this side, so I can figure out how far down I want my my strap, which is going to be attached 1 inch down. So my ruler has those markings on it. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the 4th line is your 1 inch, and then your 2 1/4 inch over from the corner. Now we're going to attach the second piece. Alright, I'm not as good, even though I'm right-handed, I'm not as good right-handed in some ways, and it's upside down. So again, we're going to do 2 1/inch over from the corner, and then 1 inch down. There we go. And that is our strap. Just pushing it together. On the front side of the album, I already attached the strap. I have brads, but they are not going through the chipboard. That is just so I can attach the charm pieces. These charms, all the pieces come in with your kit. So let me see if I can scroll in. So we got an anchor, a starfish, palm trees, a turtle, and a bigger starfish. So that's what the brad's for, is just to hook this on. It's not going through the chipboard at all. So there we go. Now we got our handles. It's and our pages attached. It's time to do some decorating. So when I'm done decorating, I'll go ahead and post, flip through all the pages for you at the end of this video. So we have our back two tags that we need to mat. So I'm doing solid color matting with a little bit of decoration for this inside piece. So I already cut my pieces. So for the little, just the single one, it's just going to get one piece, so it's real simple. And then I'll probably wait until after everything's decorated to add whatever I have left. If I have any stickers left or any cutout pieces or banner pieces, I'll probably add to this. And then this guy, so I'm doing just a full piece. Big areas don't really need a whole lot of decorating because it's perfect for your photographs. Oops. Now for the inside, I'm going to add some decorating. So what I'm going to do is just punch the top and bottom edge. So my camera might jump. Oh. Alright, then let's attach then I cut some little strips that I think so I have some 1/8 inch tape, if I can find the end. So then I'm going to add an accent strip. And then I have a sticker I'm going to add. I'm going to put, going to ink it. All right. So I added some accent strips and a sticker for the middle. And then you can put your pictures there. And I'll show you the other ones I've done. So I added a little extra to the front of this one. And then just a little piece for that guy. And I added some stickers on the front. Then there's those accent strips. And then a little piece on the bottom. Okay. Put this guy away. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add anything on the front of this. I like the girls on here. Just looking at my stickers. Oh, I think the paper's a little too busy. But I might change my mind later. Alright. And those are the back page tags. Alright, I'm going to go through all the pages and tags to show you how they were matted and decorated. And everything that you see is in the kit. So we have the burlap and the charms, all the cardstock. So everything is in the kit for this. The link is below, or you can jump on my blog, www.webofcreativity.net. Also has the written tutorial. So we're going to go through all of the decorations. This is just something simple with the chipboard. And we have some gems on the inside of the chipboard as well. So I did that with most of the chipboard pieces that have the circle on them instead of tying something on there. Those you get in the kit also. So I already showed you the first page. I left the second one blank, but you can add something flat since the first page overlaps it. But as long as it's flat, it'll be fine. I wouldn't put any chipboards on there. And we got a sticker. Punched and then added my stickers. Added something small for the inside mat. I did not add anything to this layout here. I thought the layout was just beautiful and didn't need anything. So I did use my banner pieces. That's what the little pieces on the inside are of the tags. So those are the banner pieces. The sticker. try and zoom in just a little bit. So I added chipboard and banner pieces for this one. So I have 3 chipboard pieces there. And then put some dark paper behind them so they stand out a little bit. And I keep hitting my tripod. Love sea turtles. And this cutout is just perfect for this piece right here. I think this is the first page in the collection. It has this cute little girl holding a shell up to her ear. Alright, that is, and I left this blank. I haven't added anything to it yet. And I left the back blank, but I did cut out, I haven't attached it yet, this sun-kissed piece from the, I think it's the first page. So I cut that out for the back side. Alright, that is the album. So I have kits and tutorial on my blog. And you get all these charms and the chains that go with it. Alright, thank you for watching.